Welcome to the Farmerdale Podcast. Welcome to the Farmerdale Podcast. Welcome to the Farmerdale Podcast.
Well, hey, welcome to the Farmerdale Podcast, episode number 10. That's right, episode number 10. I'm so excited about our guest today, but before we get into our guest, talking about who he is, hey, it's warm outside. No, it's not. It's cold outside, so you need to get you some merch. I finally got my Farmerdale sweatshirts. I got a brand new hat, got some brand new stuff, so go on the merch store and buy you some stuff. And before you do anything else, make sure you go and like, subscribe, and share and ring that bell so that you can get the latest episode when it comes available. So we're in the same location. We're in the Farmerdale Podcast studio, but we're also in the Farmerdale Grow Room. And the sun's shining so bright in the window, but it's still cold outside. But it was a little too bright for the window today. So I said, let's put the grow lights and our grow racks in the background. So that's what we're doing today. But hey, our guest today is my neighbor. Now, how well do you know your neighbors? I'm probably not a great neighbor. I don't talk to my neighbors all the time. We're kind of spread out anyway. But hey, today my neighbor will be here. He owns Circle T Farms, and he had a career in something for a long, long time. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his family. We're going to talk about his gardening skills because I know he's got some because I've seen his vegetables. And we're going to talk about what he does on the ranch. So it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great podcast. So I hope you watch all the way to the end. And don't forget about our sponsor halfway through. Find out who that is. So that'll be coming up. So hey, let's just go ahead and dive on in and meet Rich Thomson. All right, well, here we go with the Farmerdale Podcast. I told you a little bit about our guest already, but his name is Rich Thomson. Here he is.
Live and in person.
Live and in person.
Ready to roll.
So I told you he was my neighbor. What did you drive over here to get to my house? I mean, you're like right down the road.
I drove a Can-Am. I didn't want to walk, it's kind of cold outside.
Instead of driving a car. So that's what we do out here in the country. You just drive up in your side by side. Right. It'd be awesome.
It's a good mode of transportation.
That's good. He also bought a cowboy hat. And you can't really see that over there. But Rich owns a farm called the Circle T Farm. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. But let's get into your gardening skills. You're up here in the grow room. You saw what we got growing today, but tell us kind of, what do you grow and how do you grow it and that kind of stuff.
Well, I thought a little bit about this story, Dale, before I came over. What I do from a gardening standpoint is just short of miraculous.
Okay.
That you've got some awesome skills, and if I was to just plant something in dirt, it probably wouldn't do a whole lot.
Right.
But we do plant seeds over at the farm.
Okay.
And they grow into cows. So we plant these little bitty seeds and they grow into cows. And then the real miraculous thing comes in. We turn grass into steak.
Ooh.
Now that's just short of miraculous.
That's pretty impressive because that's something I cannot do.
Yeah, we do that pretty good.
Okay.
But I do plant a few jalapenos and tomatoes. And
okay.
I got a nice little asparagus bed going. And
yeah. I've seen it. It's pretty impressive.
It's okay.
You got them in several different areas too, right? You don't plant them all in the same little spot.
Yeah, we've got.
Would you consider those raised beds?
They're all raised beds, yeah. So we do. It's easier on the back and kind of gets it up a little ways. So it's easy to tend to.
Yeah. What's your favorite vegetable to eat?
Oh, without a doubt, hands down, asparagus.
Asparagus. I like some asparagus too.
Yeah. Give me a nice medium rare steak and some asparagus. I'm in heaven.
Have you ever grown asparagus?
Oh yeah, I've got it.
I've never grown asparagus.
I got
it. Maybe I'll try that sometime. Yeah. What about Brussels sprouts? A lot of people don't like Brussels sprouts. If they're cooked right,
you can't put enough bacon on them.
Enough butter and bacon.
You can smother them with butter and bacon and everything else. No, they're still that.
No. So let's talk tomatoes because tomatoes is something we grow a lot of. Do you like the big tomatoes, or do you like just a normal slicing tomato? cherry tomatoes, purple tomatoes, red tomatoes? I mean, what's your favorite?
We grow regular slicing tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. So everybody loves to pick those and eat them.
Yeah.
And we keep them in the kitchen on the counter in season. Yeah. But slicing tomatoes.
Yeah, the good thing about the cherry tomato too is that you can't stop it from growing. They just continue to grow until
they grow crazy.
They do.
They're coming up in the flower beds now. They're coming up everywhere. I don't know where they migrate.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And we started over there on the heat mats over there. I think we've got about 60 something seeds started. So we'll have a lot of cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
All right. So did you grow up with a garden? Did your family have gardens growing up? That kind of thing.
We did a little bit of gardening, not a whole lot. I did grow up around animals. I grew up as a FFA student in high school. And, of course, auto mechanics, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I didn't have any large animals, though. It was all small stuff. So rabbits, chickens, and ducks, and turkeys at one point. And then I kind of went through some different gyrations of stuff that I showed. So,
what'd you do with rabbits? Did y'all eat the rabbits?
We ate rabbits.
Did y'all?
And I sold babies.
Oh, okay.
So I'd sell babies, and we'd have meat rabbits too for eating.
We had a couple of rabbits growing up. I don't know. They were just pets. We just fed them lettuce and carrots. I think that's all we did.
You couldn't pay me to rabbit today. That's my childhood ruined that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, gardening season's coming up. Have you done anything in the garden yet?
No, I'm itching to though. I'm ready to do some prep. I try to leave it set the way it was all winter. It kind of gives a place for things to have a home through the winter, and we'll start tearing it down here in the next few weeks. Yeah, and bring in some new fresh dirt from the cow field.
That 1 year, because you tilled up our garden a lot and get us going on that first pass, and that 1 year that you came and spread all the manure on our garden was like the best year. It's natural fertilizer. You can't beat it.
Natural fertilizer.
You really can't beat it. So maybe we'll do that again.
And it's free.
And it's free. That's right. Well, kind of. It's free for you.
It's free for
you.
I still have to work for it too.
You are a very generous person, by the way. Okay. Well, so gardening season's coming, and we'll be full speed. Does your wife help with the garden?
It's kind of a 50-50 kind of thing. I get it all planted and, cultivated and planted, and then I'm done. And she takes over the rest of it.
Takes care of the rest of it. You probably don't have a big weed problem anyway.
Not too bad. Raised beds. They go out there and they weed and they pick. And my 83-year-old mother-in-law, now she loves going out and picking in the garden too. So it gets her out of the house.
Have somebody out there doing that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Just got to watch it when it gets real hot for her.
Farmer Jenny doesn't like weeds.
Yeah.
My farmer Jenny doesn't either.
Yeah.
Your farmer Jenny might.
My farmer Jenny doesn't like weeds either.
I don't know. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your childhood, growing up. Where did you grow up at?
Well, we talked about it a little bit. I've been around animals. But I grew up in East Texas.
Okay.
I'm a Texas guy.
And that's where your brother still lives, right? We talked about
I still have
one brother lives in
No, I've got three brothers and a sister.
Okay.
And they all still live in Texas.
Okay.
So two brothers are in the Tyler area. My sister still lives in the Marshall area where we all grew up.
Okay.
And then my brother that's closest to me in age lives just outside of Marshall, but he also works a lot down in South Texas in the oil field.
Are you the baby in the family?
I'm the baby.
You're the baby. Yeah.
It's the best way to be.
There's no doubt about it. You're the baby.
All my siblings say I was spoiled rotten. I don't know where they get that from. Don't know where they get it.
The youngest one's always a special child because I'm the baby too.
So there you go.
They only got one brother. So.
I think we worked the hardest.
I think we did. We really had to work hard to overcome.
Yeah, we had all those challenges growing up.
Yeah.
Older siblings beating the heck out of us, and
my brother would have never helped out in the garden. Yeah. It just wasn't his thing.
My brother's helped out doing stuff. That I remember. But my oldest brother's 18 years older than me, so
wow.
I don't even really have a childhood memory of him as a young child.
Yeah. Wow. So when did you move to Memphis?
Jesus, when was that? I guess I first moved here in 1994.
All right.
So I started working with AutoZone. It's kind of getting into my career a little bit.
Yeah.
AutoZone brought me to to the Memphis area.
Okay. So you worked for AutoZone down in Texas?
I started down in Texas.
Started down there, and then they brought you here.
Yep,
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, we moved up here in '94 and spent about 4 years, roughly.
Okay.
And then AutoZone moved me to Indianapolis.
I didn't know that.
And I lived up there for 7 years.
Wow. Okay.
Running the Midwest. And then in 2005, we moved back to I could run the Southeast and do a whole bunch of other little stuff we'll talk about in a little bit maybe.
What was your main job at AutoZone? I mean, what did you finish with?
Well, I finished as the director of HR.
Okay. What did you start with?
Assistant manager.
Assistant manager.
In a store.
In a store. Okay.
So
how old were you when you started as assistant manager?
24, I guess.
Wow.
Something like that.
That was really young to be a store manager.
Yeah. So I had my first store at age 24, so somewhere right there.
Okay. Did you ever get to the point where you were managing several stores, or just like a regional manager? I don't know how it's all broken down.
Well, I took a different career route. So I was running stores for them. I had my own store. I'd opened new stores and ran various other stores. And they lured me into the recruiting department. And that started my HR career.
Gotcha.
So I kind of left operations and went more HR.
Yeah.
Which at the end of the day, I think it was great. I mean, it's something that I love to do. And
were you around cars as in your childhood or in your adult?
Yeah. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, took auto mechanics in high school.
Yeah.
You know, my dad and all my brothers were avid do-it-yourselfers. In fact, my dad at one point had a full-service gas station, and all the brothers worked there. I was too young to work there at the time, but I do remember helping Mom take popcorn up to the popcorn vending machine, and so we got to eat a lot of popcorn. I remember that part.
That's great. I have no auto mechanic abilities whatsoever.
I'm blessed to have what I've got because.
And that probably comes off really handy on the farm.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean,
because you ain't got to pay somebody else to go fix all that stuff.
Saves me a ton of money.
Yeah. I'm not that way.
Yeah, saves me a ton of money.
Yeah. Jenny's dad, we'll get into the farm. My Jenny's dad raised Black Angus cows. We'll get into that on the second part of this. But he couldn't fix anything. I mean, he could not fix anything.
And he had a lot of equipment, too.
And he had a lot of equipment. You've seen that.
I've been over there,
Yeah. And he just either it broke and he bought it brand new again, or he paid somebody else to fix it.
Wow.
And a lot of times, anything broke around the house, he just paid somebody else to fix it, or he bought it brand new. They were always getting something new. He just like, no, just don't. Maybe why he has no money today, because he burned it up and paying other people doing that.
I get that.
I did AutoZone, and then so you retired from that.
Yep, I retired after 32 years. It was
32 years, but you're still young, though.
Yeah, kind of. I want to be a lot younger, but my body's telling me I'm getting old.
Yeah, you keep getting hurt.
Yeah,
you got it. The farm has turned out to be a very.
It can be.
It can be a very.
And you do
place.
stupid stuff at the farm.
Yeah, as long as you take the proper steps.
Yeah, it's my body thinks I'm 20 or my mind thinks I'm 20 and my body is telling me something different. Anyway,
how many? So we're going. I'm jumping ahead. So you moved out here. So you lived in Memphis, wherever, and then you decided you were going to buy this ranch out here. And it was already a cattle ranch when you bought it. Is that correct?
Somewhat. Yeah. It wasn't operational, but it had cattle on it. Wasn't real big, but
yeah.
So I was still working at AutoZone at the time, and I owned property in Bolivar too. It was more recreational kind of property, and just kind of come across this opportunity. Has a long, really unique story that involves an antique icebox, which we probably won't get to that on this episode. Maybe we can tell that.
I don't know. Maybe we'll save that for the second half here. Let's say that. We may start off with that in the second half.
And it already, the Circle T Farm, the name already carried my last name, Thomson. So
perfect. It was
anyway.
God just said you got to buy this cattle.
It's a God thing for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get into the cattle ranch in just a second. So, but you said you kind of grew up around animals. Did your family raise cattle?
No.
So no, but you were
so
around.
we didn't have any large animals. All small stuff.
Yeah.
And then in agriculture in high school, FFA student. or as an FFA student, I showed some various animals. I raised lambs for show and pigs for show. I raised chickens for show, stuff like that.
Did you win any big prizes, ribbons, scholarship
huge
money?
Ribbons, yes.
Ribbons, yeah, but you never won any.
And I made some pretty good money at the sale barn with them. You know, when they go through the show and then sell.
Yeah.
But no, never. No scholarships or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
my Jenny showed cows, and that was just some funny stories with that. The funny stories were the pictures that she took that when she was hanging out by the cattle trailers and stuff that they carried all the cattle with, and she did these extremely weird poses hanging on the trailer and stuff, and they were just taking these pictures with her and her sisters. We'll have to pull those out at some point. They're very funny. Yeah. They're very funny to watch. So I didn't really grow up around cattle, but I did grow around gardens, of course. So that was grandfathers and growing up with gardening. So I guess that's kind of where I got my gardening from, was from my family. But I never asked enough questions, right? I never asked them, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? Do you have people now in your life where when you got out here to the ranch, did you have people to lean on to go, how do I do this?
Yeah, it's real good. When I first bought the ranch and kind of got started into the cattle venture, because I knew nothing about cattle.
Nothing.
Well, I knew a little.
Yeah.
I knew enough to get me in trouble.
Okay.
And so I started a network, started networking and developed a network of really good people I could lean on.
Yeah.
And it's still people I call today. I run into problems and, oh God, what I do now.
Right.
And I got folks that are phone call away that help me out. So it's good to have.
Yeah, well, that's what I found in the gardening too, is that I don't necessarily have people I call up, but there's certain people that on YouTube or other sites on Facebook or something like that, I can ask questions to them, and they're all over the place, and I can ask them, how do you do this, or how do you start that? That's how we got the grow room started. I mean, I didn't know anything about a grow room, so we started from scratch, and it just kind of built up, and we bought this piece and got this big old grow room now.
There you go.
It's a lot of work. So, all right, well, let's before we get into the next section, your faith in God. I know you're a true believer. Kind of give me a rundown on how your life has gone with your faith.
Wow,
it's a lot. I know that's a lot. But
yeah, I mean, we got a few episodes.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast. But interestingly enough, I was raised Catholic, and
all right.
And I still have a lot of admiration for the Catholic religion and what they do. But as life went on, I grew up, got out of the house, and got onto my own 2 feet. I ended up going to church with my oldest brother a lot, which is a Baptist church in Tyler. And so anyway, I was going to Baptist church and somewhat converted over. I can't say that I fully converted. I didn't get rebaptized at that time or anything like that.
Right.
But after I met my wife, Jenny, we both have Jennies.
How long have you been married?
33 years.
Okay, so we've been married 34 years.
As of last week or two.
Yeah.
So February the 5th.
That's awesome.
So at any rate, I think maybe it's 32.
Was she from Texas?
It's 32 years.
It's 32.
I won't mess it up.
34 sounds pretty good, though.
Yeah, 34. And I met her in Texas, yeah.
Okay.
She was living in Texas.
Okay.
So, and she was going to an Assemblies of God church. So,
okay. Wow, Catholic, Assembly of God,
Baptist.
Okay.
So, me and her were on really good common ground as it came to our faith, and we started attending a Baptist church in the Dallas area. And then when we got married and we got married, and about 6 months later, we moved to Memphis.
Okay.
In 94. And we both joined a Baptist church in the Forest Hill Arena. It's Forest Hill Baptist Church.
Okay.
It was the church that we joined here, and we both got baptized together.
Is that church still there?
That church is still there today.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so called. They moved it down the road, but it's still an Baptist church.
Baptist.
Yeah, still a Forest Hill Baptist church.
Okay.
So
awesome. Where do you go to church now?
Leewood East Baptist Church.
Leewood East, over on Houston.
In Houston Abbey. Yeah.
Drive by that all the time.
Yeah, a bunch of little churches down that road. But yeah, we got a great church family there, and really love the Lord. And Jenny serves at the church there. She works on Fridays.
Oh, does she really?
Yeah. So, and I serve every chance I get.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be.
I've seen you like on their VBS days or whatever those days are. You bring your farm animals, kind of like petting zoo.
I bring a petting zoo. As a matter of fact, we're prepping for one of those now. So.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
kids just love petting zoos.
Oh, they're awesome. It's phenomenal,
especially city kids. They've never petted an animal in their life.
And the miniature ponies that we bring in with that is just really phenomenal.
Yeah,
so.
And we're going to talk about those coming up because those are pretty awesome. So, awesome. Well, I love hearing how people got to be where they are, and it's amazing that you started out a Catholic and now you're Baptist. I claim to be a Baptist. We go to a Manor community right down the road, and I never intended to be a Baptist ever, but that's where God's led us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think God has led. I've talked about that on multiple podcasts. As God has led me here. Don't know why He's got me doing a podcast. Got no idea. But it's like one day it was like we got to start a podcast. But hearing people's stories is awesome. So it's a good deal.
Yep.
All right. Well, coming up in the second part of our episode, we're going to talk about Circle T Farm and everything that he does in the cattle, because I'm amazed at what this man can do with cattle. And I've had some of his steaks before, so we're going to talk about steaks in just a second. So we'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by Dewey, Dillard, and the Groome and Company Real Estate Company. If you need a realtor who gets results, call Dewey Dillard today. He's serving the Memphis area, the Arlington area, Bartlett, Lakeland, and beyond. You need to give him a call today at 901-218-1958. He has over 33 years of experience. 33 years, wow, that's a lot of experience. So if you need to buy or sell a house today, or you're looking to do that in the future, you need to connect with Dewey Dillard, and he will get the job done right. Grooming Company is ranked in the 2% of companies in the entire Memphis area. That's right, 2%. That is really, really good. So you need to call Dewey Dillard today. Buy a house, sell a house. Call Dewey today. 901-218-1958. Dewey will get it done right. All right, welcome back to the Farmer Dale podcast. We've still got Rich Thomson here, and now we're going to get really deep into cattle farming. The only thing I know about cattle farming is that when Jenny's dad was raising Black Angus cattle, he would lose a cow in the middle of the night. And these are black cows. Kind of hard to find a black cow in the middle of the night. Right?
True that.
So we had these big spotlights, and we had to go out there and find,
Their eyes go in the dark.
They do, but they were still hard to see. So I remember him calling us up at 1 o'clock in the morning and saying, "Hey, can you come over and help us find these black cows in the middle of the field?" Because he didn't spend enough money on his fencing, and they were always getting out and all this kind of stuff. So
he had another time or two.
So anyway, so I don't know a lot about cattle. I know I love eating beef and steak, though. I like doing that. So how did you get into the cattle ranching? We talked about you buying the property, but what day was it that you said, "I want to become a cattle rancher"?
It was the day I bought the property.
Okay.
So I bought it with the intentions of dabbling into the cattle business. I've always kind of wanted some larger animals, and whether it be horses or whatnot, and it allowed me to do that. But my first go at it was, let's get some cows on this place.
Okay.
Number one, I didn't want to mow all that grass.
Were there any cows already there when you bought the property?
No.
So they had cleaned the property out.
They had cleaned the property out. All the equipment was gone. And, the place and areas were really, really growed up.
Yeah.
And so it was going to require a lot of work to get stuff back into shape and fences back into shape and all that stuff. So as soon as I could buy some cows, I did.
Okay. So was this a husband and wife decision, or was this, I came home, I found this great property, I want to buy this property, and we may have some cows? How did that go?
It was a together decision.
Okay.
I'm sure she'll listen to this podcast, she may go, I don't know about that.
A little push from you.
But how the story goes is we actually came out here to look at an old 1800s wooden icebox, and for a man cave kind of thing I was working on. Okay. And we pull up to the driveway, and it said Circle T Farm. And I looked at my wife and I said, hope this place ain't for sale.
My last name starts with a T.
My last name starts with a T. And we found out later that it was for sale. And the asking price was pretty exorbitant. So anyway, we kind of wrote it off. And the lady that had owned it, her husband had passed away. So she was really wanting to get rid of everything. She couldn't manage it.
And what year was that?
2015.
2015, okay.
So she had mentioned then that she was thinking about doing an absolute auction.
Okay.
And she was loaded with antiques. I was like, I definitely want to come back for the auction.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of put it out of my mind. I was driving to my place in Bolivar one day and stopped by Tractor Supply and seen this big old poster that said Circle T Farm Absolute Auction. And it was coming up in a few weeks. And I was like, oh, man, I got to get busy. So I come back and looked again at the real property just to see,
drive around and see what was.
Kind of how interested I would be, get some inspections done. We didn't have time to do an appraisal, but I kind of put together a back of an envelope number that.
How many acres was it when you bought it the first time?
It was 55.
55.
Yeah.
And then you own how many now?
I own 96 over there.
Okay.
So I bought another 41 acre plot of land next to it.
Okay.
But, so anyway, yep. And then on bidding day, I was bidder number 7. Got here pretty early that morning.
Okay. All right.
And we got at one point during the auction that morning, there were actually 2 auctions going on at the same time: an equipment auction and a personal property auction, which included all the antiques.
Okay.
And then at like 10 o'clock, they stopped all of it and said, "Okay, we're going to auction off the real property." And so bidding kind of went back and forth. There were probably 4 or 5 couples that was seriously interested in bidding on the property, and then there were over, I don't know, 300 or 400 people here that auction day. It was a lot of folks. But as bidding went up, it come down to me and another couple, and they actually landed on my number that I wrote down on the back of the envelope.
Right on it.
Right on it. So they had my number. So bidding was going up. And at the time, it was going up $50,000 a hit.
Wow.
And I shook my head at the auctioneer, no, and he went up $10,000. I looked at my wife, and I swear to God, she said yes. But I think she just gave me a nod.
Okay.
So I gave the auctioneer the same nod. And surprisingly, that other couple didn't follow us.
Ooh.
So I ended up with the property.
So his wife didn't give him a nod.
He didn't get the nod.
He didn't get the nod. Said it was done.
So,
okay. So, all right. So I don't know anything about auctions. So when you go to an auction like that, do you have to prove that you have a certain amount of money to start bidding on the house? Is that the way that starts?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about prove you had a certain amount of money, but there was well, I don't know. I had conversation with the auction company up front, and at that auction time, matter of fact, before they kind of button it all up before everybody else leaves in case they have to reopen it back up for auction.
Yeah.
But I had to write a check that day for their commission.
Yeah, that's
right. I didn't have to buy the place,
yeah.
but I had to pay their commission
right there on the
that
spot.
day, and then work out the rest from there.
So you walked out of that auction with that property.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there was still a closing that needed to go down, but yeah.
But I mean, you won the auction.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was 55 acres?
55 acres and a house
acres.
and a bunch of barns.
Wow.
Whatever.
And then you started from scratch with equipment.
Yeah.
Because they had nothing for you to purchase.
Nothing.
Right?
Everything was gone. I mean, there were a few tractors in the auction, but
okay.
Anyway.
So then you bought it, and then how many years did you work on it before y'all actually moved out here?
Because
we didn't move out here till 2018.
Okay, so about in 15, I had cows on it by the end of 15 or early 2016, I guess it was.
Okay.
I had cows on it, and then we decided to rent the house out. We were living in Lakeland.
Okay.
And we were originally going to move out here and try to keep our girls in Arlington. I had 4 daughters, and they all go to Arlington.
Right.
And that was going to cost a fortune at the time.
Yeah.
They have different opportunities now.
Right.
But at the time, that was going to cost a fortune. So I said, nope. Let's rent the house out. And we'll move out here when the youngest graduates high school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did. So we rented the house out. Luckily, I had a really good renter. And, of course, I was out here every weekend and 2 or 3 times during the week taking care of animals. And they took good care of the place. And or took good care of the house. They weren't responsible for the farm.
Right. Yeah.
But
Okay.
anyway, they enjoyed. They really hated moving.
I bet they did.
So, but when the lease time was up after about 4 years, I was like, "Sorry guys, y'all got to go because I'm moving in."
I'm moving in. That's right.
So
that's good. So tell us what type of cattle you actually started with and what you've moved into now.
So I started with an Angus herd and some commercial cows. Different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go to the sale barn, and my wife would go, "Oh, well, let's get that white cow right there." So I ended up with some Charolais and some Hereford crosses and stuff like that, but predominantly running Angus, red Angus and black Angus.
Okay.
And as my original bulls matured, and it was time for them to go on to new ventures, or over matured, I should say. Their work here was done.
Yeah.
I made a kind of a leap of faith. I wanted to try something a little different, so I went and bought a registered Wagyu bull.
I remember the day you told me that, because we were just talking. You came over and were talking about the garden, and you told me what you're about to buy, and I'm like, everything I've learned about that sounds like that is some expensive meat.
It is some expensive meat, and the bulls are pretty expensive too.
Yeah, right.
But again, kind of leap of faith there from that standpoint, and it really wasn't all about the money. My goal was I wanted to create a product better than everybody else's,
right?
And at least around here. Now you can go buy Wagyu and this and that, but
yeah, right.
But and it's kind of a fine line. I wanted an exceptional product. But you really don't want to eat Wagyu every night that you eat beef, okay? Because it's real rich.
Yeah, it's rich.
So I did a lot of research on the Angus Wagyu crosses and what kind of marbling you get out of that, taste and flavor and everything. And I was like, let's try it. Let's give it a shot. So actually, I bought the bull, and then shortly after that, I had an opportunity to buy what we call an F1 heifer. So she's Wagyu Angus cross already.
Okay.
And a F1 steer, Wagyu Angus steer.
All right.
And I raised that steer and was able to get it processed. And that was our first taste of Wagyu Angus. It wasn't born on my farm, but it was our first taste of it. And it was pretty darn good stuff. Right on the verge of phenomenal. So we are now producing a Wagyu Angus cross, and the meat is just...
Yeah, it's good. We bought 4 steaks from you back last summer, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And we came home, and I was like, we got to just go ahead and cook these. Yeah, there's no saving these for another day. So we got out the iron skillet, and we cooked it on the iron skillet. And man,
they're good.
They are the best steaks I've ever eaten in my entire life. They really are. It's amazing.
Well, what makes that so much better, in my opinion, is the genetic makeup of the Wagyu. Rather than storing fat on the outside of the muscle, they have intermuscular fat. So it's all the fibers that are just intertwined, and you just come out with a much more tender, juicier steak.
Yep. Wow. So how many do you have? More than just one bull now?
I do. I have 2 bulls, but the other one is a backup bull, and he's not Wagyu.
Okay.
So he's a Hereford bull, and I can easily tell the difference between my Wagyu crossed offspring and my Hereford bull offspring.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to keep it in check from that standpoint. But it's good to have 2 bulls out there. Number one, I've got I'm close to 50 mama cows now.
Okay.
And that's a little much for one bull to service on his own.
Yep.
That, and he gets lazy. He's got to have his partner.
He gets tired. He
gets lazy. He just gets lazy.
It's like,
when you got a sparring partner out there, it keeps the competition up.
That's right. It's a lot of work. So I was always told that you needed an acre per cow. Is that right? Or
That's really 2 acres per cow.
2 acres per cow, and you own 90-something acres? But you don't have cattle on all 90 acres, or do you?
Getting close.
Getting close to it.
We're working on a project now to open up another paddock in the back. Open up 20 acres back there. I've definitely run way overstocked.
Yeah.
But I'm blessed with having lots of hay.
Yeah, you do have a lot of hay, right?
We cut hay on
how many? Because you do all round bells or square bells?
I do both. Yeah, I do both. Mostly rounds.
How many rounds do you normally process a year?
About 500.
Okay.
Yeah, we put up about 500.
And then you sell some of those out there to
some of those.
How many rolls did you go through a year just for yours?
Oh, around 250.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So about the other half. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I try to produce double what I'm going to use and then sell it and offset my cost.
Is it a certain type of grass? Mixture
for the most part, no. It's just native mixed grasses.
Okay.
So
all right.
we'll do spray. Some fields we fertilize and spray.
Okay.
But it depends on the fields. I've got, again, I mentioned we cut hay on 5 different farms. Some folks don't care what I do to produce the hay, and then other folks like, no, time out. I don't want any chemicals, that kind of stuff. So
yeah. And we got several people on Braden Road that cut and sell hay.
Yep.
So is that big business?
Yeah, it's decent. I don't know about big.
You got to do a lot of it though, right?
You got to do a lot of it. It's a volume kind of business. Yeah, just like cattle.
My father-in-law cut a lot of hay, and he actually, it was interesting. The city of Millington had the fields over by what's the golf course there? Oracle Park.
Mm-hmm.
They had a big old open area that was hilly that they couldn't do anything with. They hired him to cut the hay and sell it.
Oh, really?
And they just let him, as long as he cut it and sold it, he got all of it.
Oh, that's
so he did that for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So he had his farm hands do that. Well, let's talk. So your farm is a working farm, which requires a lot of help.
Oh, it does.
You can't do it by yourself, especially when you're falling down and dislocating your shoulder and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Getting hurt and hurting your back and doing all that kind of stuff because you are getting old. You're getting older.
I'm not getting any younger.
You didn't know that.
Not getting any younger.
So I'm guessing you got some young guys helping on the farm. You got any full-time, part-time guys? How's that work?
Yeah, I've got one guy that I would call quasi full-time, and then I have a part-time high school student.
Okay.
And I did have back surgery, as you mentioned, last summer.
Yes.
That really put a damper on my ability to jump in a tractor and roll hay and stuff like that. And my son-in-laws were phenomenal.
Almost got you in trouble with your doctor, too, because I know your doctor.
Almost got me in trouble. He's in trouble with me, though. But that's another story. But at any rate, it taught me a lesson. It was an interesting lesson. That is, I don't have to do it all.
Right.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So this next summer, when it's time to cut hay, I may figure out how to get these boys back over here.
Right.
That's my son-in-laws, and get them back to work.
Have you found that it's any new ways or interesting ways to do it differently than what you normally do?
Yeah, we dabbled in a few things. From a round bill perspective, it's all machinery anyway. I mean, you're not picking that stuff up. The only time you really got to get out of the tractor is when you break something or something's clogged up or whatever.
Yeah.
Hook it up equipment. But square bells is a different story. And unless you got the right equipment.
Unless you got that little conveyor that's picking them up.
Or actually, we now use a grapple. So we use an accumulator and a grapple.
Yeah.
So we accumulate 8 bales in a square. And then we have a grapple that will pick those 8 up, and we can put it on a trailer.
I saw that on TikTok the other day, and I'm like, man, that would be so nice.
So we're not touching it as much until we get it to the barn, and I've got to work on how I'm storing it, because
you got an upstairs part of your barn when you throw it up on top?
Everything's ground level, but
I always thought that was crazy how they would throw hay up and just bale by bale, they'd be thrown up on top of the loft.
That's hard work.
Wow. Those rascals are in shape. You're talking about some farm hands are in shape.
When I was in high school, I threw square bales out of the field, off the ground onto a trailer.
That's probably what was wrong with your back, because you didn't work when you do. And
then we get it to the barn and we unstack it, and we made 10 cents a bale.
Wow.
10 cents a bale.
You got to do a lot of bales to make some money on that.
That's right.
Wow.
And I think we split that between 4 guys.
Whew. Wow.
I don't quite remember all the math of that. But
Wow.
3 guys or something. I don't remember what it was.
So your plan is to continue doing this for forever?
Well, as long as God will, and I can, I'm capable. I'm going to keep doing it.
Because a lot of people, they have farms, and they're like, you're going to hand it down to your family members and your sons, and you don't have any sons. I got
son-in-laws.
You got son-in-laws that may want to do it. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
Well, I find it phenomenal what you do, because starting something basically from scratch. I mean, the farm is kind of there in some type of shape, but you really just went on a leap of faith and said, "Hey, we're going to try this because it's something I think I'm going to love." Kind of like our garden. I'm like, I'm just started out, didn't know what I was doing, and it's like, man, I really, really like doing this. But it is a lot of work. I mean, there's a lot.
And you work hard too.
It is a lot of work.
I see you out working in the garden. I'm like, there's no way I can do that.
A lot of back bending breaks. We probably, because I don't want to spend money on all the equipment, so I do it the hard way.
You do it the hard way.
Maybe someday I'll have some money and be able to buy some better equipment, maybe, or get me a farmhand, because I can't get Farmer Jenny out there to do anything except she does like picking blackberries, though.
There you go.
She likes the blackberries. All right, so let's. So you got into the business of selling your beef. He's not going to have any to sell to y'all right now, probably, but you sell a whole cow, a quarter cow, half a cow. Then you process some of it. So kind of tell us what you've been doing with that, and is that profitable? Is that something that you're just doing because you love doing it and you can process them? Just tell me everything about that.
I'll first say it's not real profitable.
Okay, all right.
But it's getting a little better.
Expensive.
We might talk about that. It's expensive to grow beef.
Yes.
But, we started off just doing wholes and halves.
Okay.
And I don't do quarters. It's kind of, if somebody wants to do a quarter, I say find a friend and y'all two figure it out.
Yeah.
Because everything splits that way.
Yeah.
But at any rate, about 3 years ago, we decided to also put freezers on the farm.
Okay.
And I got my license to sell meat at the farm.
Okay.
So it's all.
Is that a hard process to get licensed?
It's not that bad.
Okay.
No. So, but I pay to keep that license up.
Okay.
And so about once a quarter, one of those steers I would butcher will go to the farm freezers.
Okay.
So my partners like Dale and other neighbors up and down the road can come buy some steaks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm generally sold out of all my premium cuts in the first weekend. Yeah. Maybe two, but first weekend they're generally gone.
Facebook's been awesome because you can put it on Facebook and then bam, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, the last couple I haven't even put on Facebook.
Yeah, because I haven't seen them lately, so I didn't know you had it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
I don't need to tell nobody. It's kind of funny with that.
I should probably call you more.
You got to keep in touch. You got to know the end story.
I do.
So, in fact, we don't even advertise now. So, we're producing about 30 steers a year. So I'm not huge.
That's a pretty good number, though.
It's about 30 steers a year, and I don't advertise. I'm already booked out through about August of this year.
Okay.
So
don't call me to see if he's got any steaks, because he does not have any.
I'll have some in the farm freezers in March, end of March.
Right? So March.
Come visit me at the end of March. We can let you pile through the freezers.
That's right.
Some good stuff. But at any rate, it's mostly wholes and half business, and as you know, the price of beef is continuing to go up. I know you want to talk about that.
We do want to talk about that because buying steaks in a store is bad. Going out to eat to buy a steak,
even worse.
In a restaurant is even worse. And Farmer Jenny has grown to love steak more as she's aged. She loves eating a good steak now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, let's get the chicken. Let's get the chicken. So what drives that beef price? And did COVID change all that? What happened?
Yeah, and it's everybody. I don't know. You could probably talk to 10 people, Dale, and get 10 different stories.
Yeah.
I do stay up on it. I attend my cattlemen's meetings. I'm part of the local cattlemen's association.
Okay.
Tennessee chapter of Cattlemen Association as well, and I'm tied in really close with the University of Tennessee.
Okay. With
all the information that I get, I'm a master producer.
Yeah. Jenny's dad was too, so he had all of his big signs telling
you know what all that's about.
He was. Yeah.
So at any rate, so I listen to a lot of what Andrew speaks about. Andrew is one of the professors at the University of Tennessee. He puts out an article every week and talks about what's going on. But so I'll tell you a little bit about what he's talking about and a little bit of my own theories.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of macro issues that are going on, so it's hard to pinpoint one thing. Yeah. Well, let's just kind of run down the top 10. I don't know if I'll hit 10, but I'll get close. But COVID. All right. So what happened with COVID? Restaurants weren't open. Large amounts of beef that were going to restaurants was no longer being used. You heard stories about farmers backing trucks of potatoes or slaughtered all their pigs or whatever and dumped them in a ditch.
Right.
You know, there was all kinds of stories
All
like
kind
that.
of stories, right?
I didn't specifically hear that about beef cattle, but
Right.
so I don't think any of that necessarily went to waste. But what it did do is it made the ranchers pull back.
Yeah.
So rather than retaining their heifers and continuing to build their herd, they let their herd size dwindle.
Okay.
And it's all supply and demand.
Right.
So demand went down, supply was high, beef prices are cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So as that table started to turn later, you know, COVID's now gone. And we,
Maybe.
And we have the flu again and a regular cold.
Just the regular flu. Yeah.
You know, then, you know, people are back at the restaurants and, you know, restaurant businesses are doing really well.
Yeah.
Now there was a demand change at the home too. So the home consumer, you know, did start buying a lot more beef at the grocery stores, but it didn't outpace what was going on at the restaurant.
Yeah. But COVID also started people coming to people like you buying half a cow at a time, where they wasn't probably doing that before that.
Yeah, that was a push on that.
Probably that push really went up. As I heard more people doing that through COVID and after COVID.
In fact, during COVID time, I did something that I've never done before, and it kind of went against the grain of what I do at the farm. Is I actually went and bought some steers because the demand was so high. For at the farm, I was like, I just want to try to meet the demand.
Right.
And so I went and bought some steers that would take me about 3 or 4 months to process out or to, you know, feed out and get them ready for butcher. And my furthest away customer came from the middle of Kentucky. Unbelievable.
Wow.
I was shocked. I was
wow. They were. So they gotta find it up there. I mean,
they couldn't find no steers in Kentucky. I guess I don't know.
Wow.
Everybody was sold out.
Okay.
So. But since that time, I got such good name recognition through all that
you do.
I really don't even advertise. And people call me, hey, put me down for another half or put me down for a whole. And I said, okay, I'm 6 months out.
The freezer space. Well, you know, my problem with buying a half a cow or a whole cow, whatever it may be, is that we don't eat at home. We go out to eat all the time. Just our crazy life that we live. It's like we're never here.
Yeah, you like touring the restaurant.
So, I do. So. Yeah, we do like.
I like that.
We do like to go out to eat. So
back to our prices. What's going on with these macro issues? So that COVID was just kind of a beginning of who knows what. But now there's so many other things going on. So we've got the New World screwworm coming out of Mexico. And if you're not familiar with that, you can read about that a little bit. But it's probably been a little over a year, close to 2 years now, that we haven't been able to import live cattle from Mexico. So the feedlots in Texas are suffering greatly. Matter of fact, you may have heard about this feedlot closing or this processor closing. The numbers right now are lowest that they've been. Well, for cattle, it's the lowest that they've been in over 50 years. Probably closer to 90 for the country.
Right.
And Texas cattle right now, I read an article this morning, they've got 290,000 head at the feedlot right now.
Okay.
And that's the lowest number that they've had in the last 15 to 20 years. So there's still some problems going on. The other thing you've got going on too, where are the fires right now? Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, no, not Kansas, Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. Okay. And so we got wildfires again out there.
Losing land like crazy.
Losing land like crazy. Texas has been hit with wildfires the last several years.
Dry.
It's dry.
Hard to water those cows in Texas.
You cannot raise cattle on dry dirt.
Yeah.
You got to have some grass.
Yeah, I don't know how they raised that. Even vegetables. I'm like, how do they have so much water? Even in California, you know, they're growing vegetables, and we get a lot of vegetables from California, and shipped into Memphis, and their watering system, they're shipping this water in, and they got wells that nobody else uses. I mean, it's crazy how they water their vegetables. So,
yeah, it is. It's nuts.
Yeah, well, you know, the one thing about beef is that nobody's ever going to stop eating it.
Probably not.
You know, and it seems like it doesn't really matter how high it's going to get. We're going to continue buying it. We may not buy as much of it, maybe, but we're still going to eat it.
Yeah, yeah. And it you know, it is interesting. You know, I always ask my question: where's the where's the ceiling at on these prices? You know, I mean,
where's it going to stop? It's kind of like house prices.
Exactly. Where does it stop?
That's kind of stopped now. We've kind of leveled back down on the house prices now. So you think the beef prices might come back down at some point. Yeah. But there again, it's so expensive to run a cattle farm. You know, people ask me all the time, how much money you make on the garden? I'm like, we lose money.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, we're losing money because it's so expensive for the seeds, for the water, the fertilizers, just everything that goes into it, fixing the equipment.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is a hard business, and you really, really got to love it.
It is a labor of love.
You know, really do it.
Yeah, this is the first time with beef prices where they're at right now. Yeah. This is the first time that I could probably say in at least my adult lifetime that, you know, big ranchers raising cattle now have an opportunity to make some money.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So, and you should. You got to. We need y'all to make money so we can continue eating, right? So that's why everybody fusses about how much the price of a tomato is sometimes at the market. And I'm like, it took us a lot of money just to grow this one tomato.
That's right.
And it's going to be really good, though. It's going to be better than what you can get in the store.
I agree with that.
I mean, it's so much better. All right, well, let's finish off. We probably got so much more to talk about, but let's talk about what is your favorite way to cook a steak?
Oh, Lord.
So there's so many different ways.
You know, I did some bone-in ribeyes. Actually, they were tomahawk style. Okay, so big, huge, thick cowboy cut. Yeah. You know, steak was about that big around with a big old long bone. Mm-hmm. And we had them at a party. It was after hay season party for my farm hands and family. And you know, I mentioned my son-in-laws did so much for me. Yeah. This was my treat back to them. Okay. And so I use a really basic marinade per se, and I don't marinate for a long time, maybe 30 minutes or so. My favorite go-to is a little bit of soy sauce, which is mainly giving you the salt content. Then I use McCormick's Grill Mates Montreal steak. Okay, it's real thick, coarse seasoning that goes in there real good. And my best steaks, you got to cook them on charcoal. Okay, so fired all that up, did that on charcoal grill. Yep, nice medium rare. Of course, you know, being that thick, that still took a while to cook. Yeah. And
I can never get them the way I want them. I don't know. I'm just not a good cook.
It takes time.
I cook them.
You got to learn how to feel that right
too much. My son-in-law would eat it pink. I mean, just basically raw. You know, I mean, I'm like, you got to cook it just a little bit for me. It's got to stop moving before I could eat it. Okay.
I just about want the vet to be able to bring mine back to life.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, I want to cook a little bit longer than that. Medium well, and I always get everything medium well, and my son-in-law was like, "You have just ruined.
You ruined a good steak.
I've ruined a good steak. Well,
you ruined a good steak.
That's good. All right. Well, this has been awesome. I appreciate what you do, though. I know it's a lot of hard work. And last question is about the donkey. Yeah, I get this question a lot because our next door neighbor has a donkey. You've got a couple of donkeys, I think. What is the purpose of the donkey? The main purpose.
They're great part. They make you smile.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, they actually, those miniature donkeys serve no purpose on the farm.
No purpose whatsoever.
But to give you a big old smile.
Cute as all get out.
They're cute.
Yeah.
So you go out there and they hee-haw at you. And, you can't do nothing but smile.
Oh, they're happy when they're making all the noise. Yes, they're happy or mad or hungry. That's what I always figured. They're hungry. It's about 5 o'clock every day. I hear yours going off.
They know it's time to eat. When it's time to feed, maybe they're happy because the feed's coming. I don't know.
That may be what it is. That's the way our next door neighbor Travis and Mallory. When they get hungry, they're up at the fence because she's got horses too. And boy, I tell you what, they're at the fence and they're like yelling at her, like, "Come feed me! Come feed me! I gotta get."
My cows are the same way. Lord have mercy.
That's awesome.
They get to moving.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate you being on here, Rich, and hope y'all learned something about cattle ranching and how awesome Rich is, and maybe in the future he'll have some steaks for you.
In March.
And
feel free to come visit the farm. Just hook up with me.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a farm tour video one day and just
let's do that. We'd love to have kids out, let them play with animals, and
that'd be pretty cool.
You know, it's kind of all part of our petting zoo thing with the church. And,
we know we've got grandfather now. My daughter's pregnant.
Oh, congratulations.
So in July. So maybe in another year and a half, maybe we'll bring the grandkid out.
I've got 2 grandsons now, and
Yeah.
I'm waiting for them to grow, but I don't want to rush it.
Yeah, you don't want to rush it. You don't want to put them to work
That's
too
right.
fast.
Sure.
Yeah, I told my daughter, I said, "Oh, your grandchild will be picking vegetables."
That's right.
Child labor laws have been a bit
That's
wrong.
right.
So, anyway, well, I thank y'all for listening to the podcast today. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be right back. Well, hey, I want to thank Rich Thomson for being on the podcast today. Hope you enjoyed talking about cattle and talking about beef and talking about his life, and which is really awesome. He's a really good neighbor. So, hey, get to know your neighbors, even if you got to do it on a podcast. Find out more about what they've got going on there and in their lives, because, hey, Rich is awesome. Your neighbor may be awesome too, but until you find out, you won't know. So, hey, until next time, Farmer Dale out.